The third act. Let's see the competition's rise or fall.
Saturday morning brought a new development. I was in the garage organizing tools when I heard voices in the backyard. My wife was out there with two of her friends, Joyce and Madison, having what sounded like an emergency strategy session. I couldn't help myself. I cracked the garage door and listened. "You need to get control of this situation before it gets worse," Joyce was saying. Her voice had that sharp edge it always carried when she was giving relationship advice. Joyce had been divorced twice, so naturally she was an expert. "I don't understand how it got this far," my wife replied. "It was supposed to be simple. You said if I established boundaries early, he'd respect them and things would improve. And they would have if you hadn't let him turn it around on you." Madison chimed in. Madison was the one going through her own messy divorce, spending most of her time these days teaching other women how to take control of their relationships. "So what do I do now? He's using my exact words against me. You make him understand that there's a difference between reasonable requests and what he's doing."
I think you already know what I'm about to say, but let me just say it. Would you let your relationship damaging friends tell you how to fix your marriage, your relationship? One that's going through a divorce, one that can't keep nothing? Would you let them give you advice about your relationship? It's only funny, not even really haha funny. It's funny in a this is fucking ridiculous. But let's keep going.
Said firmly. "Men need clear structure. You can't let him think he can just opt out of responsibilities because his feelings got hurt." I had to bite back a laugh. Responsibilities like picking up her dry cleaning were somehow written into our marriage vows. But what if he doesn't back down? My wife asked, and for the first time all week, I heard genuine worry in her voice. "Then you escalate," Madison said. "Get his family involved, his friends. Make it clear that his behavior is unacceptable and everyone knows it." "Exactly," Joyce agreed. "Men hate being embarrassed in front of other people. Once he realizes how childish he looks, he'll fall in line." There it was. The real strategy. Public humiliation as a relationship tool. "I don't know," my wife said hesitantly. "That seems kind of extreme." "Extreme is letting your husband walk all over your boundaries." Joyce shot back. "You tried being nice about it. You tried being reasonable. Sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. What about what Lillian said yesterday?" My wife asked about him having a point. "Lillian's still single for a reason," Madison said dismissively. "She doesn't understand how to manage a relationship long term. You can't let men think they have equal say in everything or they'll take advantage. Equal say in our own marriage. What a concept." "Look," Joyce continued, "you did the right thing by setting boundaries about physical intimacy. That's important. But household responsibilities aren't the same thing as personal boundaries. He's being manipulative by pretending they are." I almost walked out there right then. Manipulative? I was using her exact logic, but somehow when I did it, it became manipulation. "So, what's the plan?" my wife asked. "Simple," Madison said. "Tomorrow is Sunday. His brother Kenneth is coming over for the game, right? And your parents are stopping by for dinner. Perfect opportunity to do what? To make it clear to everyone that he's being unreasonable. Let them see how he responds to simple requests. When he gives you that self-respect nonsense in front of his family, they'll shut it down fast. And if they don't," my wife asked. "They will," Joyce said confidently. "No man wants to look like a petty child in front of his family, especially over something as stupid as picking up dry cleaning." I'd heard enough. I closed the garage door quietly and went back to organizing my tools, but my mind was racing. So, this whole thing hadn't been some spontaneous moment of boundary setting. It had been a calculated move planned and coached by her divorced friends, who apparently saw our marriage as their personal laboratory. The self-respect comment hadn't been about personal autonomy at all. It had been about establishing a hierarchy where she got to make demands without reciprocal obligations. And when that backfired, instead of reconsidering the strategy, they wanted to double down. Well, if they wanted to escalate things to a family level, I was more than ready for that conversation. But it wasn't going to go the way they expected. Sunday couldn't come fast enough. I had some self-respect to demonstrate. Sunday arrived like Christmas morning for someone who knows exactly what present they're getting. My wife spent the entire morning preparing her stage, cleaning the house with unusual intensity, and checking her phone constantly. I could practically see her rehearsing her lines. Kenneth showed up first, carrying a cooler of beer and already talking about the game. My brother and I had always been close, but we kept things simple. Sports, work, the occasional family drama. He had no idea he was walking into an ambush. "How's married life treating you?" he asked, settling into his usual spot on the couch. "Educational," I replied, handing him a beer. My wife emerged from the kitchen with a plate of snacks. All smiles and domestic perfection. "Kenneth, so good to see you. How's work at the construction company?" Kenneth launched into some story about a difficult client while my wife nodded along, playing the perfect hostess. But I could see the tension in her shoulders. The way she kept glancing at the clock. At exactly 2:30, right as the pregame show was ending, she made her move. "Honey," she said sweetly, "could you run to the store quickly? I forgot to get ingredients for the salad, and my parents will be here in an hour." Perfect timing. Kenneth was right there to witness my response, and she framed it as an emergency that any reasonable husband would handle. I took a sip of my beer and looked directly at her. Don't ask me. I have self-respect. The temperature in the room dropped about 20 degrees. Kenneth's beer stopped halfway to his mouth, his eyes darting between us like he was watching a tennis match. "I'm sorry, what?" my wife said, her voice climbing an octave. "You heard me. I have self-respect. I don't just do things whenever people feel like asking." Kenneth cleared his throat. Maybe I should go grab those groceries." "I don't mind." "No," my wife said firmly, her mask slipping. "This is between me and my husband, who apparently thinks that helping his family is beneath him." "Helping the family," I repeated slowly.
My only question to end this one: would you drag someone else's family into your household's business? Just wondering. Part 4 is next.